Just a day after our Treasurer reassured us that Australia will not slip into recession, the American economy is right now teetering on the brink. Overnight new figures show the US economy shrunk for the second consecutive quarter. That is a technical recession, even though Joe Biden doesn't believe it to be the case. But let's bring in our business editor, Ross Greenwood, to explain a little more on this. Now, Ross, in America, there's another step before a recession is declared.
Yeah, that's true, Pete. And what that is the National Bureau of Economic Research basically looks at all the conditions in the United States and declares a recession. If it was here in Australia, say, for example, it would be in recession right now. And you can see that through basically the last two quarters of economic growth. So in the first quarter of this year, it's fallen by 1.6%. In other words, the overall economy, the GDP, if you like, has shrunk by that amount. In this second quarter, it shrunk by 0.9%. Now, the interesting thing is there's been strong growth, as there had been here in Australia, coming out of the COVID lockdowns and, if you like, the response. But you can see even here going out into the future that really the expectation of the US economy is not for strong growth, not for a strong rebound. And they're the forecasts in grey that you can see out on the right-hand side. And so really what you're getting is very subdued growth in the United States. That's acknowledged by Joe Biden, the president, but he was clearly trying to send a message to that National Bureau of Economic Research that he doesn't want a recession declared.
There's going to be a lot of chatter today on Wall Street and among pundits about whether we are in a recession. But if you look at our job market, consumer spending, business investment, we see signs of economic progress in the second quarter as well. And yesterday's Fed chairman, the Fed chairman Powell made it clear that he doesn't think the U.S. economy is currently in a recession.
So let's link it to Australia, Ross. How does it compare with what Jim Chalmers told us here yesterday?
Well, it's kind of similar what Joe Biden's saying and what Jim Chalmers is saying, and that really Australia can avoid a recession, that there can be a soft landing, that Australia can continue to grow. But Jim Chalmers made no bones about the fact that things will get tougher. I spoke with the Treasurer late last evening about this, and he said, look, he wanted to be absolutely upfront with the Australian people about the tough times ahead, the interest rate rises that are coming, the fact that real wages are going to basically be falling for the next year or so. And the reason why he said that is he said, because, look, we don't want people to be under any illusion. So effectively, he's tried to warn people about what's to come. He also said that if there's something that he's concerned about, it is that forecasting is so difficult. And really, if the world, the United States, Europe, they fall into recession, there is a potential that Australia could have a knock-on effect. That's not what the forecast is. That's not what he's hoping for. But certainly, there's a risk there as well.
OK, so can the forecasts be relied on? What are your thoughts on this, Ross, that inflation will eventually fall, that the economy can avoid a recession?
I've got to say, look, the forecasts that came out yesterday from Treasury and the Treasurer were pretty much a Goldilocks situation, that everything goes right for Australia. Now, to be honest, Australia in the past, a lot of things have gone right. And one thing that's gone right is retail sales. Australian households so far are really not feeling the pinch. And so, say, for example, yesterday, you saw the 6th consecutive monthly record retail sales, which are up by 0.2%. The issue here is that they're slowing. So the annual growth here at 12%, but the monthly growth yesterday was just up by 0.2% for that June month. But $34.24 billion, people clearly are spending, and at the moment, they're also absorbing the price rises that are coming through the inflationary effects as well, Pete.
OK, well, back in America, Ross, two of the indicators of its health, Apple and Amazon. And there's word overnight that both have suffered in the past 3 months.
Yeah, they have, and they've both put out quarterly reports. So if we go to Amazon first, which is one of the biggest retailers there, and what you can see here is it's had a loss in this second quarter, and also sales have fallen. So this is the first loss Amazon has had pretty much since it started, $2 billion loss. It's not alarming. Now, the funny thing is that Apple, by contrast, if we go and have a bit of a look at that, we can see that Apple, its profit is down by 10.6%, but iPhone sales, oddly, have held up during this period of time, so it's not been too bad. But I just want to show you one other thing about these two companies, Amazon and Apple. They're bellwethers really for the US markets. After hours trading, this is what the share prices have done. Amazon, off the back of that loss, has jumped by more than 12%. Apple shares up by more than 4%, despite... Now, this is telling you is that investors in the United States really believe that there is a soft landing coming for that US economy, that the corporate profits can improve, that the consumers there are resilient, just as they potentially will be here in Australia. That's something that's also going to feed into Australia's market today, which will be stronger off the back of that performance on Wall Street overnight.
Okay, good one. Ross Greenwood, thank you.